This blur I've got behind me is actually an effect, which is, so if I turn it off, you see everything's in focus and you lose the depth, and that is not DSLR-like at all. But I like it with the blur, and the blur gives it that quite nice look, which I do love. Now you've got all these other things. You can have me sitting in a nice office. Obviously, I wouldn't use this microphone because it disappears here. You can see the microphone where it really is. But I would use a desk microphone. You can see how it's playing tricks with the arms here. So, but look, it's not bad that, you know, it's quite a good picture that. It's probably more usable than a lot I've seen. So there's lots of different ones you can have. And, you know, they're quite realistic and with good lighting. If you got the lighting right, you would be quite... There's even an animated one here with a clock moving behind me. So if I had the proper microphone here, I like doing that, then you could actually make it quite believable. But what I would tend to do is probably video my background perfectly lit and use that so no one else could have it. So then people would think, is that real or not? So you've got a cafe. I wouldn't drink at that cafe. It doesn't look that good. You've got an office in the States, news desk, studio, and so on. So I have actually added one that I did, and this is when I was working on a false background. So this is one that I did on Adobe Firefly, whatever, and that would be unique to me, but it wasn't that great, to be honest. And that was another one I did just for just playing around with it. So you can add your own backgrounds to it very easily, and that's one project I'm going to probably spend a little bit of time on to get some good backgrounds that I can choose. Then you've got some filters here, so off with the filters, and I quite like that one, and I've got it at a very low effect, 19%, but so if you go way over there, it oversaturates me, look a little bit orange. I quite like that. Then this is an interesting one, it's eye contact. So I'm looking at the camera now, and if I turn it off and on, off, on, I'll keep my eyes completely steady, but you can see the eyes move to try and look at you. So I'm looking at the screen now, not the camera, but it does look as if I'm making eye contact with my audience, and that's really good. So you sometimes want to see the monitor and see what's going on the screen, but when you do that, if you haven't got that turned on, you're actually not looking at the camera lens. So that's if you turn it on, my eyes will move. And if I turn it off, the only way I'll get my eyes to look at you is to look at the camera as I am now, but I can't see the monitor. So that is a nice little trick that it has up its sleeve. Obviously using AI, so that's the Elgato 4K webcam. I'm continuing to test it. I have only had this for around about 1 week, so I'm not going to make any decisions and give you any advice at the moment or any comments. All I'll say is I'm enjoying using it. I like the fact that it's fixed on the wall, and I like the fact that in the effects, I do like the eye contact. I think that works really well. And I like the fact that you can have the blurry background, because that to me, I don't want to see my background in focus like this, because it looks absolutely naff. So, and apologies that it's not lit up as it normally would be, but I just wanted to get a quick test of this camera while I was shooting another video. So I've tagged this one on the end, but I shall stop rambling on and let you make your mind up. I've also got the YOLO Live webcam, which I'm looking at as well. I also like using my Osmo Pocket 3, which is super simple to set up. And I do like that. And I have been using that as my regular webcam. I've used in the past my Sony ZV-E10 for special occasions. and I've got a Sony 6700, which I've used. But with the DSLR cameras, the problem is that they do overheat. You can only use them for short bursts. You've got to keep taking them off the where you mount them to change the batteries and so on. People use dummy batteries, but they don't like being used for long times. I want something that's there all the time, that if someone rings me for a quick Zoom call, I can have that call immediately, and I don't have to fumble around to set up my camera, plug it in, and sort of, oh, it's not charged up, and have all those problems. So it's nice to have webcams that are always there, a bit like the webcam on your computer at the very top of your screen. It's there all the time, isn't it? But we want something better than that, with better quality, and this does give you much better quality. So that's my little mini review of the Elgato 4K webcam. Thanks for listening. If you found this interesting, please do subscribe. Please add any comments you have on this. I'd love to talk to you about these webcams and see exactly what your thoughts are on them. Would you think that was taken with the DSLR? I know some people would say yes, and some people would say there's no way on earth that looks like a DSLR. And some people say, oh, that's amazing. That's absolutely fantastic. So what's your thoughts? I'd love to know your thoughts as to whether you think that is DSLR quality or anywhere near it or miles away from it. Let's be honest. Let's have a chat. Thanks for watching.